Hi everyone, welcome back to this video, the weekly planner by Johanna Basford and Secret Garden 2. Now we are going to start with doing these 4 flowers and the colour, choosing the colour actually for them. Now I'm quite fancying a blue maybe. I'm just looking at my swatch chart for my castle. This is Castle Art Soft Touch. I want quite a nice deep blue, I think. I might grab this Prussian blue or the ultramarine. Let's have a look. Where's my Prussian blue? That's the ultramarine violet. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm going to use the Prussian blue. Now what I'm going to do for these petals is go a little darker on the outside. Then I think we'll just do this outside bit actually with this dark blue. There's a sort of outline, let's get the right word, outline around here. I'm going outside of the lines a bit. I'm wondering whether to just ignore that line actually and come all the way around. I'm going to do this. So I'm going to go all the way round the edge of our petal and then just sort of fade this in a bit. Now I'm going to do a slightly lighter blue in the middle. I think I'm going to do that for each of these petals. Let's do that. It'll take a little bit of effort, but I think it will be worth it. And it's not too tricky like that. I had a nice walk actually. Popped along the canal path to go to the supermarket. It's due to rain in a minute. It's getting quite dark outside. First rain for ages. I don't know if it will though, or whether it will just cloud over. You know, it's one of those sort of thickish but very pale high clouds. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, it was. There's a few different paths and we strayed off the canal path a little bit, and there's a little area that's been planted up actually by various volunteers, but I know the school, some of the local school children from the primary school my children used to go to actually, they do their forest schools there, and so they planted some trees up there quite a long time ago. And these trees are all starting to grow and there's a little path through them, so that was really pretty. We're looking at the blossoms and the leaves. There were beech trees coming. Something that my son said he thought looked a bit like oak had that sort of rounded leaf, but we couldn't work out what it was. And there were various blossoms, apple blossom, and there were cowslips on the ground between the trees. It was really lovely. And then we also stopped to walk along the river. There's a little path that goes along the edge of the river which runs parallel to the canal most of the way, and the river rushes along, but it's quite a relaxing noise, and the sun was out when we were out and it was glinting on the water, and there's little areas where there are mini waterfalls, not like huge, just like a rock that it goes over. It's not really a waterfall, I don't know what you would call it, but so we were looking at that and it was lovely. I was going to take husband, but he decided he wasn't feeling quite up for it, so just me and son went, and that was nice. I might take him out for a walk later. I sound like he's some sort of dog. I'll take him out for a walk. I'm actually considering doing a bit of DIY this afternoon. I know. It's not my thing, but we've got some kitchen benches that we want to use in our garden, and we have put them in the garden before, and they're not varnished with an outdoor varnish, so that they still got spoiled a little bit. So what I need to do is just sand them down and get some yacht varnish to put on them. Now I thought I could start sanding them down maybe, because although you can't, this yacht varnish, it says it needs to be used when it's over 10 degrees and dry. So I can't really use it at the moment outside because it's not that warm, but I'm wondering whether I could just risk it. But anyway, I thought I could sand them down and put them back in the garage, so they'd be okay. So I'm thinking about having a go at that this afternoon. I have got a load of other jobs that I have been thinking about doing as well, but that looks okay, doesn't it? We put a little bit of lighter blue in there. I have to think about what colour to do though. I'm going to sharpen up. I find it much easier with a sharper pencil. I know some people, or you just break it in the sharpener, you know. Whoops. Some people prefer a slightly blunter one. I know most people don't, but I know there are some people that really don't like sharpening their pencils. I do. There we go. So, yeah, we had to pop to the supermarket because I had some letters to post. We did our postal votes yesterday for our local county councillors. We tend to vote a bit differently locally than we do nationally. We have different representatives and there are different issues that they deal with, and yeah, and also like nationally, there are only 2 parties that can potentially get in. Just because of the area we live, and that's how people vote. But locally it's the same as well, but it's different parties. So yeah, it was a bit of a different choice. I mean, of course you don't have to vote for one of the ones that are definitely going to get in. You might want to just show your support for a different candidate or party. But also we'd had leaflets. There were about 6 different parties standing, and we'd had leaflets from 3. So that whittled it down before we even voted. Now what will happen, as always does, is we'll probably get information through once now I've posted the votes off, but we don't want to risk it because they gave a date when it had to be back by, and our postal service in the area can be a bit iffy. It can take quite a while for a letter to get, so it's got to get, I mean, it's only got to get within the same town, but sometimes they take a really long time, so we didn't want to risk it and leave it to the last minute. So we decided to just do it early and get it done, and we ended up talking about it. Now, I don't always like trying to influence other people in the family what to vote for. Obviously that's their decision, but we did have a bit of discussion about the options, and once we'd all voted, we talked about what we voted for and why. We all ended up voting for the same person, which was quite interesting, as two of the leaflets had untrue statements on, and so we were like, don't like that. One of them said that a candidate from a different party didn't live locally when they do, and that they were never seen in the area when they were the only one that came to the door canvassing. So we're like, that's not true. And then the other one we had made some really sweeping, completely untrue statement. So we're like, it's always tricky, isn't it? But, you can do your best. And sometimes I feel like why bother? One of my neighbours says if she hasn't had enough information, she doesn't bother, because how can you choose? And maybe it's that she wants to support a particular person, but if they aren't going to give her their information, then she can't, and she isn't prepared to vote for others or something, I don't know. But at a local level, the party is less relevant, because I don't even know why they sort of have a party behind them, because they're just voting on very local issues. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens, really. I think sometimes people tend to think nationally when they make their vote, but we'll see. They sort of want to punish a party, not support them because they aren't doing what they wanted, or who knows, but we'll see. My pencil's getting blunt again. I'm going to turn it round. But yeah, so we posted those off, and I put a couple of postcards in the post for my nieces. I had another bit of a sort out this morning. I was just sitting on the bed, getting my slippers on, and opened my bedside drawer and found a handful of bits to get rid of. So again, just a quick, get rid of something. It's nice. Basically, I found some glasses defogging spray, and which we had when we were wearing, it's to get really foggy specs, and we bought some of this. And then I was told by my optician that the sprays actually remove the coatings off your glasses, so you shouldn't use them. So I had been meaning to get rid of it, and I just hadn't, so that was just something that was sitting there not being used. And there was I found a leaflet which came with my old bed mattress, so I didn't need that anymore. And what else did I find? Oh, some straps, like when you have tops and things and you can wear them either with or without straps. Oh, look at the pencil's gone all blunt again. I found the straps for various tops, and I knew that I wouldn't put the straps on them if I didn't have them on now, so I just thought, and some of them were for tops I no longer had, and I wouldn't know which would go with which, so I was just like, oh, I'll get rid of those. This pencil is not a happy pencil. I'm going to persevere. And so it's getting really quite cloudy out. So yeah, that was a bit more stuff. I think I might be able to eventually put all my bedside drawers into one and have 2 empty ones. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with all this empty space, to be honest, but it's nice to have it, you know. As I say, you can make way for new, maybe, you know, or I'm not sure. But I think it's putting a bit of pressure on husband. He feels like he should be doing a bit too. But he's been thinking about doing some of his stuff for a long time. And that I'm leaving that up to him. I'm not saying anything, putting pressure on him, because I know he finds it really stressful. So I'm just doing my stuff bit by bit. And just sort of, you know, I guess I was going to say quietly, but it isn't, because I've got a bag of things to go to a charity shop. Maybe I should keep those somewhere less public so he doesn't know I'm doing it. Put less stress on him. Not sure. But yeah, I found, what did I find the other day? A necklace that I'd forgotten I had, that I've never worn. And yeah, just, you know, my sister said could she have the chain, because she was looking for one, and because our mum gave her a pendant to go with her, to match her wedding ring, and her engagement ring, sorry, moonstone, and it didn't have a chain, and she hasn't got one, but unfortunately the pendant wouldn't come off the chain on the oh, it's getting so grey and dark. My lead is breaking, but I'm just going to use my dowel sharpener. It's usually, oops, a lot more friendly. It's better. I was, while I was sharpening, I looked out of the window. Because I'm on the 2nd floor, I can see the rooftop of the next house, and a big seagull flew over the top. We don't get that many round here, because we aren't the seaside, but it's they like the water, you know, the fish and the canal and things like that, but we don't get loads, which is nice. It can be a bit annoying. I know they get a lot more. There's a nearby city which has docks. They get a lot more there. We tend to just get pigeons, and some people still do feed them, which encourages them in. I'm not sure about that really. You know, people say they're a nuisance. They can be, but on the other hand, they can be quite pretty. Right, the central part, I'm just going to get my swatch chart out again and have a little look. I don't think I want to go sort of this pale, just a little bit paler. I'm trying to find a colour that you'll have that's not a pastel. I mean, you may have the pastels, of course. The cerulean blue light might work. It might be a bit too pale. I'm going to give it a go. If I can find it. There it is, cerulean blue light. And so I'm going to just try and do the middle and spread that out a bit, just to get rid of that white paper in the centre. Keep the outside looking as dark as I can. It should be quite quick. Then we can choose our next colour. Or do a flower centre maybe. Something like that. Sorry, my hand's all over it, you can't really see. But I don't think, it's not rocket science. It's just covering that central area over. Covering over the white. I could be being a bit neater. Some of it needs going back over with the Prussian actually. Because some of the edges are a little bit pale. So I'm just going to tidy that up before I finish this particular flower. So, where did I put it? Here it is. You may not be able to see this on camera, but these, I've missed a bit here and here. So I'm just going to tidy up those edges. You may or may not need to do this. You may have been a lot neater than me in the first instance. I'm just going to go around that central bit. My husband's talking. I'm confused. He's on his own in the kitchen. Is he talking at the telly? Maybe. Or maybe he's phoned someone. I don't know. Who knows? He was having a good chat with... No, I was having a chat with one boy and he was having a chat with the other. I went out with my one son, we had a natter, and the other, he had a chat with the other one about his work placement, because he's getting a bit grumpy about it because he hasn't heard back. So we want to try and encourage him to chase them up a bit in a way that doesn't, you know, that feels right, if you know what I mean. I'm going back to this one again and just doing those edges. Just the same thing as last time, Prussian blue around the edges. So hopefully he'll get something back from them soon enough. But he sort of needs to know and have a start date so that he can decide if he's going to try and learn to drive this summer. He wants to sort of do a really quick intensive course, and that means he needs to unbook it quite quickly. And so we'll see. I think he's a bit nervous, to be honest. He doesn't admit it, but because he's a bit shy, I think the thought of being in a car alone with someone, a grown-up that he doesn't know. But I think once he's had a couple of lessons, he'll be absolutely fine. He's confident about driving. He's had to go in his dad's car a few times on private land, although he's, because we're not insured for him to drive our car. But yeah, he's had a little go, and he's okay. But that's an automatic. He did say he wanted lessons in an automatic, but you can't do the intensive course in an automatic. There isn't that option locally. Oh, my pencils. I'm wondering if my sharpener blade's getting a bit blunt, or whether I'm just being a bit too aggressive. I don't know. I'm going to leave this one a bit blunter. Yeah, so he'll have to learn in a manual car, but actually that's better because it means he can drive any car. So I'll go back to my Prussian. So it means that if he has to hire a car and there are no automatics, which is rare these days, to be honest, he can drive. He'll be insured, licensed to drive. So if you pass your test in an automatic, you can't drive a manual car. In the UK, you have to drive an automatic. So, and yes, you can just have a license for an automatic. But actually, my husband's friend did. He found it really difficult to coordinate his two feet and hands, and you know, change gear and not turn the wheel at the same time and things like that. So we had to learn. He had to do manual. It's quite shiny there. It's the lamp. So you know, it is something you can do, and more cars are automatic. He wants a little electric car, I think, when he eventually gets one, but he doesn't really want to drive. He wants a license because he thinks it'll be useful, but he doesn't necessarily want a car, particularly not immediately, because he's hoping to do a placement that he can reach on the train. And then he did get offered another one which he would have to drive to, and they sent him a psychometric testing, I think it's called, and he failed on the maths, which was a surprise as he's got A-level maths. But he said they didn't want a very high degree of accuracy in the questions, so he was spending a long time answering them to a high degree of accuracy, and they didn't want that, so he ran out of time. So, but he thought it was a bit silly, but he would, he's a teenager. But it was very difficult to get to the place anyway, so that was that one. But quite a big accountancy firm in the area, but there are lots and lots of others, and hopefully he can get with this one that he wants to go to. Right, we've done that. It is time to look at these. Now, I am thinking maybe a sort of pinky colour. What have we got? I think I'm going to do the petals first this time. I'm looking at our pinks here. We haven't got loads, have we? We've got some up here which are more reddish. I think the purple light might be quite nice. I'm going to try it. Purple light. What I'm going to do with my purple light is try to get this effect, but just with the one pencil. So I'm going to go around the edge with a more intensity, and then try go a bit lighter in the middle and see whether it works. And I suddenly had excitement in my belly, because I remember I'm getting a parcel today, and possibly two. Someone messaged me and told me they're sending, and haven't told me what it's going to be. So I'm intrigued and excited. So that's exciting. And it's even more exciting because I am making space. You know, I feel ready for more, if you know what I mean. I don't feel like it's going to clutter me out, because I know it's going to be something special. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to just carry on with all of these the same. Yeah, it's good. And I've actually just decided that I'm trying to decide whether to keep or not my Laura Ingalls Wilder book collection. They don't match each other, so they're not a pretty set, if you know what I mean. Some of them are falling apart. They're second hand. And I don't know if I'm going to read them again, or I'm wondering whether to reread them and then decide, but I'm not sure. And I spoke to my sister, and she said, well, you can always get them from the library and reread them. You don't have to own them. You know, you can probably get them as e-books, or you know, kids books. Yeah, our kids books. One of them is a letters called West from Home. It's not a kid's book. It's her letters to, I think it might be Rose's letters actually to her mother, I'm not sure. So I'm not sure about that one. I think it's a bit rarer. And of course I could sell them. I'd make a little bit, I'm sure, but I don't know if I can be bothered with fiddling around with the postage and everything. And it's quite nice giving things to a charity shop. Gives you a nice feeling, doesn't it, that you're helping them, and they'll be able to sell them. and the one I give to in our town is for a local hospice, so I'm always nice to give to them. You know, I know of someone who, I'm not sure if they're still there or not, that was there, who yeah, so I didn't know them personally, but I knew people who knew them, if you understand what I mean. I knew someone who cared for them, and I knew someone who was related to them. I guess when you live in a small town, you get to know people. I mean, I don't really. I mean, today, I guess, walking along the canal path, I saw two people that I see are regularly walking along there, but I don't know who they are. You just say hello, recognise them, you know, and yeah, that's nice. But so that's nice. It gives you a nice feeling, doesn't it, to help out. And I used to buy and sell books all the time, which is how I collected them anyway. They're not my childhood books. I haven't had them for that long, you know. But I think yeah, I'm not sure. So I'm thinking on that, and it's like, you know, there's so many that would free up so much space, is what I'm telling myself. Right, the little seeds, there's a circle of seeds around the central circle, and I was thinking of doing them in black, and I was like, no, I don't want to do them black because we've got enough black. So I'm thinking of a dark colour. Now, I could go for like the purple deep, but I don't know if it's significantly different to the purple light. I could use the aubergine, that's what I'm going to use. There it is. You could use the sour berry or the beetroot if you have the harmonious, but I'm going to use the aubergine. It's really similar. And do these. And then I've got to decide on what to do in the middle. And I think I'd quite like to do yellow again. Don't have to do them all yellow. Or maybe could I go lighter pink? Light pink? No, I changed my mind very quickly, didn't I? No. There we go. Now you could do each circle separately and make it really work, but it's too small for me to have that sort of patience. So I'm just going round and round. And yeah, I think I will do a yellow. I think I'll start with the cadmium yellow deep. Where is that? There it is. Cadmium yellow deep, and sort of go around the outside with this. Oh, that's nice and vibrant. In fact, I might just use this one. It's not a huge space, but just sort of fade it towards the middle and leave a little white in the middle if you can, to sort of make it glowy like our blue ones are. There we go. Now the centres of these flowers to me look a little bit like they need something. I can see a lot of white paper through. So I'm going to get a pale pink and just quickly just go over them. I'm going to use this azalea pink because it really is very light. And just do this central bit. I don't know if it's just burnishing it and making it look as dark as the rest. That's the only problem. But I am more satisfied with the look of it. So I'm just going to persevere with that. Just to finish off this little section. And then we'll... how are we doing? Yeah. I've got a cup of coffee waiting next door. So I might have to go and get that. is that. So let's come out a bit. You can see all my mess. Sharpener. There we go. So there is our next stage. We are still obviously got 3 different flowers to do, so we'll see how long that takes. I really don't know whether it'll be 1 more video, 2 more videos, we'll find out, but we're going to put in some different colours, so that'll be fun. I've got a few ideas. I think I know which ones I'm going to pick for all of them, but you'll have to wait and see. But thank you for watching today. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and happy colouring.